Our panel will be discussing how Nongsa D-Town is driving growth through focusing on the digital economy and why developing a vibrant regional digital hub with access to talent and market will attract international tech companies. Also, would like to find out more about the closer bilateral ties between Singapore and Indonesia. Before I pass it to Thaddeus, our co-founder at E27, let me share with you this video to highlight that while many stellar digital hubs have sprung across various parts of Southeast Asia, what makes Nongsa D-Town particularly stand out is its strategic geographical placement perched within close proximity to Singapore. Let's all watch this.
Every major downtown represents an ecosystem that embodies the diversity and creativity of its people. One such downtown, coming soon to Batam, will connect Indonesia and Singapore.
Nongsa D-Town is a collaborative community of tech and creative talents, connecting Singapore and Indonesia's digital economies. Nongsa Digital Park has its genesis from the creative activities that we've been doing at Nongsa for the last 15 years, with Infinite Studios Animation and Film Studios, and more recently with the tech community at Nongsa Digital Park. Nongsa D-Town also brings together Citramas Group and Cinemas Land, with our respective expertise and experience in Nongsa, bringing together integrated development that is close to nature. The D in D-Town represents downtown. D also represents digital. We also want to be a hub for the digital economy in the region, which brings us to the third D, which is Digital Bridge, a term coined by President Jokowi to describe Nongsa's potential to connect the digital economies between Singapore and Indonesia. We're excited to bring Nongsa D-Town to you and hope that you could be part of our community.
Welcome to Nongsa D-Town, a new kind of downtown that connects Indonesia's and Singapore's tech and creative ecosystems in the exclusive Nongsa region of Batam, just 40 minutes ferry ride from Singapore. D-Town Plaza connects ferry terminal to D-Town and Nongsa, a gathering place for a variety of community activities and events, as well as shopping. Riverview Tech Campus offices, comprising commercial pavilions and tech campus offices, interconnected with a treetop walk. EcoPod Village, a green eco-friendly complex constructed amongst the mangrove trees, bringing nature directly to office doorsteps, commercial area, and co-living space. D-Town Link, a commercial center with a variety of food and beverage, retail, co-working space, and supporting amenities that cater to the needs of residents and talents in Nongsa. A direct access to each story enables easy movement and makes it a flexible space. Nongsa D-Town is the embodiment of live, work, and play, where urban and nature, land and water, technology and creativity, and collaboration and innovation exist in balance. Truly, a development like no other in the region.
Hi everyone, now on to the exciting part of our webinar. First of all, let's welcome all our guests here today. On my left, let's welcome Dr. Beh Swan Gin, Chairman, Singapore Economic Development Board. And next to him, we have Michael Widjaja, President Commissioner, Sinar Global, and CEO of Cinemas Land. And next to him, we have His Excellency Suryo Pratomo, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia in Singapore. And lastly, we have Michael Wiluan, President Director, Sinar Global, and CEO of Infinite Studios. And I'm Thaddeus. I'm the co-founder at E27, and I'll be the moderator for today. Thank you everyone for taking time out to join us for this panel. It's a pleasure to have all of you here today. I'm sure our audience has been very keen to hear from our panelists some of the history and the background of this entire Nongsa D-Town development. So let's ask the first question to Pak Tommy. How does this initiative build on previous gains of previous trade agreements? And how do we continue to build on this partnership to build this digital bridge between the two countries?
First of all, that the Nongsa Digital Town initiative is not only inline, but give a very huge contribution for the Republic of Indonesia to deepening our digital economy. I always sure that there is three elements that we can use to develop the what called the digital economy. First is the creativity. Second one is the innovation, and the third is technology. Now, in Nongsa Digital Town, they have met all the requirements. So hopefully that Nongsa Digital Park, Digital Town, can be places for the many talent to make a creativity and innovation, and also give opportunity for the young people to have training over there. And the third one is especially, of course, for the business people, they can expand their business. So from the government side, that our challenges is how to make a more conducive environment. So to make all the people and all the sectors can be going together, and they are work. And once again, Nongsa Digital Town, they can give space, can live there, can work there, and also can leisure. So hopefully the three sectors, the government, the university, and also the people from the technologies, and also the business sector can cooperate. And what we done in the Nongsa Digital Town is one of example, the concrete, that the partner and support from the business sector is very important to develop and to meet our challenging in digital economy.
Yeah. I remember when I was there, I actually met some of the youth from the surrounding cities, and they were participating in some of the initiatives, animation courses and things like that. And it was very exciting to bring them to meet regional and Singapore founders for our program. And because of that, I think it was a kind of a mini version of what we're trying to talk about here, which is to build this bridge together with our two economies. And my thinking was, wow, how can I bring this opportunity to the Singapore side, the Singapore companies, to leverage on what we have built together as a digital bridge and to build the economies together. So maybe we ask the next question to Dr. Beh. So I think everyone is just curious, what's EDB's role in this entire project? And how do you all see this plan as fulfilling our the digital bridge program between two countries?
Sure, thank you. Well, firstly, this is a wonderful opportunity to strengthen the very special relationship that Singapore and Indonesia have together, right, as neighbors. But it is also a project that's very much grounded on commercial opportunity and really the economic opportunities that will present itself to the companies who participate in Nongsa D-Town. And the reason I say this is because the digital economy and digitalization, it's such a big driver of growth today and in the future. For companies that want to benefit from the very large and fast-growing market in Indonesia, clearly many will grow in Jakarta, they will expand in Jakarta, and it makes a lot of sense because Jakarta is the business capital, is the political capital of Indonesia, and the largest market. But on the other hand, there are also many opportunities for young Indonesian tech talent who may want to work for companies that are based in Singapore, and in particular the big multinational companies, the big tech giants, as well as Singapore companies. And Nongsa actually is ideal for that because of the proximity to Singapore. And, I think for Indonesia, this is wonderful because there is just so much potential in the young workforce, many of whom are very interested in tech, and this will expand the range of possibilities, the range of opportunities. For Singapore, with Nongsa, actually we can accelerate the growth of our tech sector faster because we have a finite workforce, we have finite resources, and the ability to harness the energy, the talents of the young Indonesian workforce is just wonderful. So we are very hopeful that this will become a roaring success. It doesn't start from scratch because it's actually building on Infinite Studios' presence in Nongsa that they've been there for more than a decade and already a proven model of success.
Thank you, Dr. Beh. So let's move on now to the two gentlemen from Citramas and Cinemas Land. We wanted to understand the longer term plans, right? The vision of Nongsa D-Town. Maybe I'll pose the question to Mike. Can you elaborate a little bit more about the vision of Nongsa D-Town to our audience, please?
Well, let me just start by saying that Michael's business had bordered our business for 30 years. We'd been neighbors for 30 years, and we've operated on the basis that Batam was very strategic, Nongsa was very strategic in our various businesses that we operated. I started Infinite Studios, moved the business there because I felt that we needed access to a lot more creative talent. And there hadn't been a studio in Southeast Asia of that scale producing content globally yet. And so we were the first movers, and we moved to Nongsa and thought that there were many challenges from technology, hardware, software, but one of our initial thoughts was the attraction of talent. But that became instantly waved away when hundreds and thousands of people applied for jobs because this was an opportunity. There hadn't been a studio before. And one of the challenges I had was actually, convincing the parents that there was a digital industry, that there was an animation industry that could be sustainable, that could grow and thrive. And so we started over 10 years ago and became, I would say, a petri dish of an ecosystem that had young people come from all parts of Indonesia to Batam, to Nongsa, where they would work, live, and play and create a life for them. So we had a microcosm of that in Infinite Studios, and that has grown since. And when this idea of, how do we do this 2.0, Nongsa Digital Park, D-Town, Michael and I got together and through the auspices of Dr. Beh on EDB, in which, we needed to address some immediate issues of growth in Singapore, which is the I would say, the lack of sort of like mass talent to fulfill the IT and tech industries, and Indonesia being a very young and growing source of talent pool. We've demonstrated that with our animation business by growing it from 50, 100 to 400 people, and we've demonstrated that there is talent, there is capability, and there's also a domestic market. And so Michael and I got together and we started talking about how do we synergize this opportunity so that the whole of Nongsa is able to capitalize on this strategic relationship with Singapore. And we envisaged this whole digital town, this D-Town, in which this ecosystem that both our families started actually decades ago on a different kind of industry, and a very old-fashioned industry, has now evolved into that next generation tech creative talent pool that's attracting people from all over Indonesia and being able to be connected to Singapore. Distance, connectivity, hardware, software. I mean, we're just really, like you said, less than half an hour. I mean, we're half an hour away by ferry. And I think not a lot of people realize the huge potential, because what D-Town will offer is this jumping off pad to both places, to one of the most connected and vibrant entrepreneurial evolutionary cities in Singapore, which is Singapore, to one of the most vibrant, growing, I would say, talent intensive markets of Indonesia. So it's like a jumping off point into Indonesia and a jumping off point into Singapore. So we felt that we were building something that was really special, and that was really the crux of the vision that we started.
Yeah. Michael, do you have any inputs on this as well?
Oh yeah, maybe just to add on that, I think the vision laid out by Mike is very correct. But from the development side of it is, we need to continuously build on the software. As developers, we only tend to build buildings, and as a city builder myself, by building BSC City, I think it's very important to build the spirit and the software in which the energy of the people and the right crowd will bring about this new movement and this new energy.
Yeah. We have seen many of the different parts of the world building up innovation towns, but unfortunately they always neglect the software part, the people part. And I think what Mike has told us is they started way earlier to engage the local economy, the local cities, the local universities, of course, to getting these talents, these youth to start thinking about tech as a next future for their economy. So I also wanted to ask Mike back a question. Tell us a little bit more about the creative industry, right? Also, what are some of the plans that Nongsa D-Town has that can address the longer term challenges?
When we first looked at D-Town and envisaged a creative community, we took a lot of examples around the world of creative communities that had formed naturally. For example, Soho in London, or if you go down to certain districts in Manhattan, there's always a creative center that has somehow evolved. And that was really the approach, to create a sort of like a very organic, natural place where people feel comfortable. And the creative industry takes its inspiration from the environment around. And if your environment is sterile and hard and it's forced, then the creative industries tend to shy away from that unless they have no other choice. But we are creating something there that has a naturalness about it. Nongsa is already a natural environment, and we're building upon that naturalness to create the facilities that are needed for a new generation of young creative people. And so that's what we got our inspiration from. And when the pandemic came, obviously, we had to put on hold a lot of the plans to continue to build, and we had to rethink and see what the post-pandemic creative industries would be like. Nothing is going to change there, I think, in terms of, there is the convenience of working from home. There's safety. But at the end of the day, creative people still need to find inspiration, and they're still tactile people. They need to meet, and they want to be in an environment that's safe. And the next vision really for us, going through the experience of the pandemic, has taught us one thing, is that we can still create this vibrant ecosystem, but we also have to prepare for spaces like, in case there is a situation like a pandemic coming around. It has taught us all how to be much more prepared, in the sense that, the spaces that we build, the way we approach architecture, landscaping, workspaces, the way that we're connecting people from their homes to dormitories to how they're traveling to work. It's obviously tweaked it so that actually this pandemic has allowed us to kind of be more future-proof in that sense. So we're still on track to create a very dynamic environment that would inspire the next generation of creative talent.
Thank you for that.
Can I just
Dr.
jump
Beh?
in? I want to say that two advantages, right? One is that actually on the demand side, it's actually accelerated because of the rapid adoption of digital technologies as a result of COVID-19. The other advantage of Nongsa is a relatively unscathed, fairly blank canvas that allows them to, as Mike put it, to future-proof the development versus a development or a city or a town that's already actually very well developed, and you really have to readjust and to renovate and to overhaul. I mean, there it's actually very nice blank canvas where they can think hard about what is it that industries will need, not just today but for the future. So two advantages. One, relatively clean sheet of paper, and secondly, the demand it has actually accelerated despite COVID-19.
I remember when I was talking to some of the companies about the opportunities there, and they always see Jakarta as a main business hub. That's where the salespeople go, right? You do your business there, you shake your hands there, but they are looking for areas where they can build tech houses, tech talent, where their tech teams actually sit. D-Town really sits very nicely. With half an hour, the founder himself can come by, take a look at the tech production, the roadmap of the technology, and then return back to Singapore to rest for the evening. So that was a very nice sweet spot where they could focus on selling in Java Island in Jakarta, right? But they could start to look into West Indonesia, starting with their development team. And then there's also a big hinterland, the West Indonesia side, that many tech companies actually have not really gone into.
I mean, that's what we're doing today in Nongsa Digital Park, is that there's a lot of companies, including us, including Infinite Studios, that it's not a solution for everything, because at the end of the day, it's a center that connects to the hinterland, right? And so it is challenging in terms of time and logistics to visit every single company in Indonesia, because there are hundreds now growing, and we ourselves have an alumni of hundreds that have been through our studios and have become entrepreneurs in East, West Java, Central Java, Kalimantan, and we're using them, we're working with them, and so it becomes a network out. I was talking to Michael about using BSD as well, as that point, because there's the education that comes into it. So we're sort of, it's a web that goes out. And so it's not daunting for an entrepreneur coming from Singapore to explore Indonesia, where do I start? Going to D-Town and saying, okay, I could start here and be connected.
Yeah. I think the beauty of D-Town is, when we built this bridge, is to get the Singapore founders, the entrepreneurs, they are starting to look into Jakarta first, right? And when they base there, what we want to do, right, is to educate them, to empower the local individuals as well, because we all know this for a fact. If you want to go into an Indonesian market, you need a very strong Indonesian team as well to head some of these markets. And I think D-Town provides that base of talent, not just developers. I mean, we're talking about business talents as well, right? To manage their business for the West Indonesia. A little bit longer term, but that's how we see it as well.
We have a very young generation. In year 2035, the number of the young generation and the workers in Indonesia can reach 160 million people. And the average age of them is around 30 years old. That's why I appreciate what the Michael Wiluan have already done in Batam, in Nongsa, is how to train the Indonesian people to upgrade the competence and the capacity. And after that, they return to the village and develop the other city in Indonesia. Because Indonesia is not only have the Nongsa, we have a lot of opportunity. And if we can further our cooperation, especially to push up our cooperation in digital economy, I think it can give a beneficial for the two countries and to the people.
Yeah, so if I can add on that, I think the digital economy in Indonesia will only grow as our people grow, right? I think as of currently now, we have about 160 million youth. Those youth have to be directed the right way. I think they have to be trained the right way to get the right jobs, because as of now, if you are training the traditional way, the jobs will not be there. Right, so I believe that in Nongsa, with Infinite Studio heading up some animation school and the Apple development school programming, which is the second one in Indonesia, and we want to build more of those institutions so these Indonesians can be trained the right way, so they can be targeted by MNCs in Singapore and such for the skill set that they've learned accurately. Right? So I believe that accurate education and educating people the right way in the new economy, like this data scientist or video creation and such, those new industries are the backbone and what we need to teach our young Indonesians, because the demand for the job is those skills, not the current skills of the traditional schools. So that's what I believe.
Let me have the last comment on this. So I remember in 2013, we first went into Jakarta to do our first event. We met guys from Tokopedia, Urbanesia, and of course Gojek. And at that time we had Grab already in Singapore. And we're just wondering, well, what's your chances of succeeding? And 7 years down the road, we were so wrong, right? And when we were discussing with Citramas, we were thinking, look, we got to slowly look at this, build it up from scratch together with the guys from Citramas, of course, with the Apple Academy to train these guys up. First, maybe towards tech talent, but I think there's a whole generation of entrepreneurs that is just waiting to come out and create something. After those stints of working in Singapore companies or global companies is done, they will want to start something, right? So I think for us in E2SM, we are very excited to just wait for the developments, wait for the next generation of these entrepreneurs, and then we are just waiting to discover these guys and promote it to all the different investors that would like to definitely invest in Indonesia. They are so much hungry for Indonesian-related companies, and I think West Indonesia is one area that haven't really been truly explored. Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen. That's all the time we have today. I'm personally really excited to see D-Town myself, and we are looking forward to really discover more Indonesian tech companies together with you guys. Thank you.